Salt dough Valentine heart with angel. We're going to use a combination of 2 cups of flour, 1 cup of salt. We're going to mix it together in this bowl and set it aside, only using a portion of the combination for this project. It's always good to keep some on the side. So here's our combination, and we will add some water. I like to add my water slowly, stirring with my fingers until it becomes the consistency of Play-Doh. If the dough becomes too dry, you can add more water. If it is too wet, you can add some of your flour and salt mixture. Knead the dough in your hands, and then after you're done kneading the dough, put it in a plastic bag so it won't dry out. I like to wash my hands so I'll have a fresh start. Now, take the dough and put a portion of it into 2 balls that are around the same diameter. Start rolling out one at a time, spreading your fingers till each of your strands has the diameter that you like. Once your second strand is the length of the first strand with a similar diameter, you're going to overlap the 2 strands in the middle and begin twisting from the inside, moving to the outside. Bring in some parchment paper and quickly place your dough heart onto the parchment paper. This is really important because if you handle the dough too much, it'll start to crack. Now mix some of your dough into a little bit of water to make a salt dough paste. This is what you're going to use to paste the top of the heart together, and any of the other accessories you place on the heart. Next, take a paper clip. Put it into the paste and insert it into the top of the heart so you can hang a ribbon there later. Now we're going to create the banner in which we will write the words, "Be my Valentine." Flatten out your dough, and if you have an instrument that you can roll over it to smooth it out, that would make it even better. Curl it up on the edges so it looks like a banner or scroll. Put some paste onto your heart, and then place your scroll onto the heart, flattening it so you can write on the scroll. Now for the angel, we're going to create the head from a small ball of dough and the body from a little bit bigger ball of dough. Use your salt dough paste to paste the different parts of the body together. Make sure you put some paste on the heart and then place the head and the body onto the heart and press down. Next, we're going to form a wing. Indent the wing with a paper clip or a Sculpting sculpture tool. Next, fashion an arm. I like to have the arm holding onto the scroll, and make some fingers with the tool. Lastly, we're going to create the 2 legs. There's no exact science to making the legs. Just form them until they are the desired shape that you'd like. Lift up the body and place the back leg in, and then you're going to be placing the front leg over the top of the back leg. Make a couple small indentations for the knee. Now we're going to mix some hair. I like to put the paint into the water first so that I don't have to paint my salt dough afterwards. So mix together some water, and I'm using a gold brown paint, And then after I've mixed those together, I'm going to add some of our extra flour and salt mixture that we previously mixed together. It's the same principle. Mix it up together until it feels like the consistency of Play-Doh. If it's still too wet, add a little bit of the salt dough mixture. Knead it together with your fingers. Place it in a plastic bag to keep it moist, and then I like to wash my hands so that I can have a fresh start for the next part of the process. We're going to use a garlic press. This is a great tool for strands of hair. Make sure you first put some of your paste onto the head and then fashion different strands of hair onto the top of the head of the angel. Now I've previously mixed some pink dough using the same method that I showed you with the hair, and this is going to be laid over the angel. Roll it up on the ends. Place a little bit of your paste. The next process is to apply leaves and roses. Once again, I've previously mixed some leaves using a yellow-green paint. If you mix your paint ahead of time into your dough, it creates a wonderful way to add color without having to paint over the dough afterwards. I like to make all of my leaves ahead of time before I do the roses so I can wash the green paint off my hands. You can use a paper clip for indenting your leaf, or I prefer a tool for salt dough sculpture. Either works well. Now for the roses, take a little bit of dough, flatten it out, and you're going to curl it to make the inside of the rose. Now for each petal, take a little ball of dough and flatten it out, and then work around the center, overlapping the petals until you have the rose in the desired size that you'd like. Pinch the bottom of the rose off with your finger so that it will lay nicer onto the leaves. Now we're going to make a couple small buds to go on the sides of the rose. It's the same process that you use for the middle of the rose. If you use the end of the paper clip or your salt dough sculpture tool, it's easy to place the bud under the rose so that you don't squish the bud. Now we're going to go ahead and create a rose for the other side. Sometimes it takes several times to form the inside of a rose, so don't become discouraged. If the dough is too wet, then you can add some more flour and salt. If the dough is too dry, you can knead in some water. Now follow these instructions for baking. Here's some different ideas for accessorizing. I like to use micron pins for the writing. We're going to use a 03 today, but there's different sizes. Some basic rouge for the cheeks, some clear glaze, and some acrylic paints in white and black. Let's get started. Now I've pre-drawn the words "Be My Valentine" onto the banner, so I'm going to trace over them with a Micron pen. If your pen starts to get clogged with the salt dough, just go ahead and write off to the side. Sometimes this happens after the salt dough's baked. Now we'll start on the face. We'll do the eyes and the mouth. And a couple little eyebrows. Let's add some rouge with a Q-tip for the cheeks. Now we're going to use some black acrylic paint and what I call a stylus. It's got a little metal ball on the end to accentuate the eyes. And we're going to add a little ball of black paint at the end of every word. Actually, the beginning and the end. And this creates a whimsical script. Next, let's add a couple daubles of white paint on the cheeks. Now we're going to take the salt dough outside and spray it with a glaze. After it is dried, you will have the finished product. I like to add a ribbon to hang the salt dough heart. For creative teaching resources, visit our TPT store.